and the more minds it can control, the more powerful it will become. Which is why we must stop this infestation here and now before it spreads to other worlds. Namely, my own.
And how exactly do you suggest we do that?
Well, obviously we've got to destroy the crab itself, but as its power grows, that becomes increasingly difficult, so...
So we have to deny the source of its power, namely, the enslaved citizens of Banksville.
Well, hey, I know. With my super speed powers, I'll be able to go to each and every one of those citizens of Banksville and rip those crabs right off their face in no time flat.
Well, maybe you could do just that, Mr. Flea, but unfortunately, ripping them off like that could, and most probably would, kill the hosts. I'm afraid the crabs must come off their faces willingly.
Oh, man, we're screwed.
Not necessarily, Frog Prince. With my psychic telepathic powers, I should be able to break the link to the crab and make those little crabs just fall asleep. However, there are so many of them. It's a bit overwhelming. I won't be able to get them all, and I don't know if it'll be enough.
Wait a minute, I know. With my glowing radioactive ass, I'll be able to hypnotize those crabs off their faces.
Well, hey, I can get you in front of hundreds of faces at super speed, thus, easing the pressure on Venusian Headhunter.
Yes. And once the star crab is weakened, I should be able to contain it in one of my plasma bubbles and take it off this planet. Okay, and while you guys are doing that, I'll be on a beer run.
And soon, the ASS, the American Super Society, arrives back into Banksville, where it's now totally under the control of the star crab. And they immediately get to work, as the flea, carrying Moon Maid, races in front of every face of the citizens of Banksville, allowing Moon Maid to pull down her panties, using her glowing radioactive ass, hypnotizing the crabs to go to sleep and fall off the faces of the citizens of Banksville. The rest of the people are being psychically released due to the powers of the Venusian Headhunter. And so Dr. Spectacular makes his move to put a giant plasma bubble around the giant star crab. And as he begins to lift the crab into the sky, something goes wrong.
Don't know what's going on, but suddenly I've got this splitting headache. It's all I can do to maintain my concentration, losing my grip on the star crab. What is this?
I'm sorry, Dr. Spectacular, but I'm afraid the star crab has managed to infest my mind through the slaves I freed, and it's forcing me to use my powers to attack you.
No, only one chance. I've got to try a massive plasma blast right at the heart of the creature in the hopes that'll break its psychic link with Headhunter.
And with the massive plasma blast, Dr. Spectacular is successful in breaking the psychic hold of the star crab. But both he and the Venusian Headhunter fall to the earth, weakened from the battle.
Oh my God, Doc, no!
Don't worry, Moon Maid. I'll catch him.
Got him! Yes. Thank you, Flea. You most definitely caught me.
Whoa! Venusian Headhunter! Oh, God, are you okay?
Don't worry about me, Moon Maid. Just stop the star crab.
What? Oh, no! The star crab! It's flying away, going to God knows where!
Hey, guys, I got the beer.
As the ASS, the American Super Society, saved Banksville only to lose the world to the giant star crab, find out in the next exciting episode of the ASS, the American Super Society.
You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com.
Great displays of vanity, Night-Night. What's that you're wearing?
Why, it's the Night-Night t-shirt, Bobo.
Well, where'd you get that?
Well, I got it at the Mr. Nailsin store at Zazzle.com. There you can find your Night-Night t-shirts and other products that Mr. Nailsin provides.
Huh, look at this one. It shows you staring at the flying pig's butt.
Shut up, Boo-Boo, damn it.
Anyway, folks, if you want your night-night t-shirt, head over to the Mr. Nailsin store at Zazzle.com and order your night-night shirt today. This is a Nailsin News Bulletin. Seattle official suspended after using taxpayer money to hire transgender stripper. Hello, I'm Mr. Nailsin. A Seattle public official has been put on administrative leave after reportedly hiring a transgender stripper to dance topless for a homelessness conference, and it was all paid for by hard-working citizens. During the event, which was held at South Seattle College, stripper Beyonce Black St. James danced on tables, gave lap dances, and stripped down to a pair of silver pasties as people threw dollar bills. Kira Zylstra, acting director of King County's Coordinating Agency for Homelessness, reportedly organized the event and planned the shocking entertainment for the evening. After seeing the display, she's now been placed on paid administrative leave pending an investigation into the incident. According to reports, no one really knew what was coming. On the agenda for the night, the performance was simply listed as a cultural presentation, leaving attendees in the dark until the entertainment started. During the performer's dance, she removes her shirt and walks around the room topless, while partygoers fork over dollar bills. Others said that while they understood that Zylstra was merely trying to give fair representation to an entertainer, they felt the performance was too sexual and forced attendees to sit through the presentation without prior knowledge of what would be happening. The deputy director of King County's Department of Community and Human Wellness said that they were aware of the reports and were looking into the matter while Zylstra was on leave.
The department is aware of an event that occurred during the All Home Annual Conference on December 9th, 2019. We have placed the director of All Home on administrative leave pending the results of an investigation into the event and the leadership of All Home. But because there is an active investigation underway, I am unable to respond to specific questions about the event.
According to reports, Zylstra takes home $123,000 in her salary each year. Well, sounds like she could have coughed up the G-string change. This has been a Nailsin News Bulletin. You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com.
In our last episode of the ASS, the American Super Society, our heroes had successfully fought the Star Crab, saving the citizens of Banksville from being turned into crab-faced zombies. But the Star Crab itself was able to escape and flew out over the Atlantic with Dr. Spectacular in hot pursuit. But before Dr. Spectacular can catch up to the Star Crab, there is also in the air a United States Air Force nuclear bomber on routine maneuvers.
Base, this is Niner 100, homeward bound course. Hey, Captain, you know what a virgin sounds like in prison? What? I don't know. It sounds like this. Yeah, because, it makes a sound when he farts. I get it, Lieutenant. I get it. Wait, what the hell is that? Oh, man. It looks like a giant crab in the sky, but that's impossible. Good Lord, it's coming right at us. We gotta change course. Too late. Oh, God, it's got us. Ah!
Suddenly, the Air Force nuclear bomber finds itself in the clutches of the claws of the Star Crab. And it's at that moment that Dr. Spectacular arrives on the scene.
Great gobs of goo. Star Crab is attacking that nuclear bomber. Good Lord, it's ripped open its belly. It appears to have... It has! It's captured one of the nuclear bombs from the plane. And now it's tossing the plane aside, making its getaway with the nuclear bomb. I can't deal with Star Crab now. I've got to save the crew of that bomber. Using my spectral rod, I should be able to use my plasma energy in order to safely guide the bomber down to a soft landing.
And so, Dr. Spectacular does just that. And once the bomber is safely down, Dr. Spectacular renews his pursuit of Star Crab.
There's no telling what nefarious ends that creature wants with that atomic bomb. So, instead of challenging the creature, I've simply got to take that bomb from its grasp. And once again, I'll use the plasma energy focused on my vector rod in order to grab the bomb. Oh, now, careful. Got it! Oh, shit, no!
Unwillingly, Dr. Spectacular has accidentally set off the atomic bomb. But fortunately for him, he's able to protect himself within a plasma force field. But as the smoke clears over the ocean...
Well, fortunately, the atomic explosion took place over the middle of the Atlantic, so no serious harm done. Well, it's not the way I intended to end Star Crab, but, well, I'll take it, so I... Wait, what? No! It can't be!
But it is. Star Crab has not only survived the nuclear explosion, but appears to have absorbed the energy from it, and is now able to shoot atomic ray beams at Dr. Spectacular.
Well, how many more hits I can take like that? Otherwise my plasma shield could break down. I've got to go on the offensive. Take that, you little bastard. Oh, jeez! He just barely missed me. Still, the heat of that ray singed my butt cheeks. I can't take another chance. I've got to go in for the kill shot. I know. I'll give a full force plasma blast right down its throat. That seems to have done the trick. The crab is now falling down to the ocean. I'd better pursue it to make sure it's finished.
And as Dr. Spectacular follows Star Crab as it falls to the ocean, he begins to notice it begins to shrink in size. Finally, before it hits the water, he catches it in one of his plasma beams.
Good Lord. It's shrunk down to the size of a normal crab. Probably should study it for science, but no, I think I'll just smash it into pieces. Receiving a signal from the other members of the ASS. Dr. Spectacular here.
Doug, hurry back! We're under attack again from Star Crab!
What? But that's impossible. I just destroyed Star Crab. How can this be?
And so now we join the ASS in the small fishing town of Banksville as they bear witness to what impossibly appears to be the Star Crab floating over the small town.
Oh man, here we go again.
Oh no, and I just got off the phone with Dr. Spectacular, and he says he destroyed Star Crab, and yet here it is.
Oh man, what the hell?
I believe I can explain. You see, the Star Crab is a super powerful telepath. And so I deduced that once Dr. Spectacular destroyed it, it was able to transmit its consciousness into one of the many smaller crabs it had earlier excreted.
What? Oh man, hang on. I'm gonna go smash up all those other little crabs in a few seconds using my super flea speed.
And so the flea, fastest bugman alive, does just that, stomping and crushing all the remaining smaller crabs that had been excreted by the original Star Crab. But then...
Oh man, I managed to crush all of them except that one. Hey, it's getting big too.
Fascinating. It appears Star Crab is able to transmit its consciousness to multiple entities. We're fortunate you were able to destroy the remaining crabs, Flea,
But now, we've got 2 giant crabs to deal with, so we're hardly out of the woods yet. All right, Headhunter, you and me are